Hello, Bolivar Road Elementary School. It's Mrs. Alex here. I'm very excited to be reading to you the very first chapter of our 2020 Bolivar Reads Together book selection, Elroy Jakes is a Rock Star, written by Sally Warner and illustrated by Jamie Harper. Let's get started and get to know Elroy Jakes. Chapter 1, Taller. I grew an inch last weekend, my friend Kevin McKinley announces at lunch on Friday, smiling like it's no big deal. But it is. Kevin is brown like me, but already he is taller than I am. So him growing another inch doesn't seem fair. Why can't nature make things come out even? I don't get it. It's Valentine's Day in exactly 1 week, which means it's almost the middle of February. Just about every kid in Miss Sanchez's third grade class is outside, including me, because it's the first sunny day we've had in a long time. Even the birds are having fun. Crows are turning circles in the air. No, you did not grow an inch in 1 weekend, Cynthia Harbison says, basically calling Kevin a liar. That's impossible. Everyone holds their breath when Cynthia says something like this. She's usually right, and she likes to boss people around. But mostly she bosses the girls, especially Emma McGraw and Annie Pat Masterson. Cynthia's dad has a really cool car, though. It's an Audi, and she's very neat, if you like that kind of thing, which I do not. It's not impossible to grow that fast, Corey Robinson says, defending Kevin. He's usually pretty quiet, and he has freckles on his face. Corey smells like chlorine all the time. Corey is a champion swimmer, but he's not that tall. He's a pretty cool guy. In fact, he's very cool. He doesn't threaten to beat me up in the way Jared Matthews and his best friend and faithful robot, Stanley Washington, used to do. Jared is widely known as the meanest kid in our class. He is absent today. Yeah, I chime in, because Kevin is also my friend. Maybe he hung upside down all day long for both days and his legs stretched. As I say these words, I wonder why I didn't think of this first. Because I am the shortest kid, including all the girls, in our class at Oak Glen Primary School in Oak Glen, California, USA. Hanging upside down, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot because, number 1, I have already tried drinking so much milk that it almost comes out my nose when I laugh. 2, and I have tried sleeping straight, not curled up like the shrimp I am. 3, and I have tried thinking positive, which is something my dad always recommends. He is a champion positive thinker, unlike my mom, who's a worrywart. She also wants to be a writer of fantasy books for grown-ups, which is why my little sister, Elfie, and I have such weird names. My real name is Lancelot Raymond Jakes, in case you didn't already know. But please, just call me Elroy. My dad's name is Dr. Warren Jakes, and he teaches geology at a college in San Diego. He is very smart, and he's bigger than normal size, so maybe there's still hope for me. I believe you, Kevin, Emma says, daring to argue with Cynthia. But how do you know you grew an inch? Because my mom marked it on the wall, Kevin tells her and everybody. And then the last time she did that, I was a whole inch shorter. When was that? Emma asks. Last summer, Kevin says, on the 4th of July. Cynthia snickers behind her hand. Kevin's mom writes on the wall. That's so messy, she says to Fiona McNulty, who is the shyest girl in our class. Fiona has weak ankles. She tells us way too often. Fiona really admires Cynthia, though. Yeah, writing on the wall is so messy, she says, sounding like an echo. Kevin scowls. You better not be making fun of my mom, he says, in a low and scary voice. And he's right to say that, because kids can say any bad thing they want about another kid if they have the nerve. But parents are off limits. Also sisters and brothers, unless the kid officially hates them. Already tall Stanley Washington frowns and pushes up his glasses higher on his nose. But that doesn't make any sense, he says, as if he'd been dividing the numbers in his head. You grew an inch since last summer. Kevin. Kristen, Cray, Rodriguez says, backing Stanley up. Not over the weekend. Oh, Cry is very pretty. She's also good at math and figuring things out. Well, I know that, Kevin says. He would be looking mad if anyone else had said that, but what Cry did. But everybody in my class likes Cry. She is another positive thinker. That's what I meant to say the whole time, Kevin continues. Only somebody interrupted me. We all turn to look at Cynthia, but Cynthia just shrugs. Well, who even cares? She says, straightening the plastic hoop that she wears to hold her hair back away from her face. Anyway, she adds, like she's making perfect sense, my dad's taller than Kevin's dad. That doesn't break the rule about not criticizing parents, but it comes pretty close. We think about it for a while. What does that have to do with anything? Corey finally asked. I'm just saying, Cynthia says, satisfied, and Fiona gives her an admiring smile. Well, who even cares who's taller, Stanley says, because Jared's dad has a lot cooler stuff than all your dads. In fact, he got a brand new ATV just last week. It's red and has flame decals all over it. ATV stands for all-terrain vehicle, and you can ride them fast in the desert or on the beach, lots of places. You don't even need roads. My dad would probably never buy an ATV. Oh, though, because he likes to protect the environment. I guess mostly because the environment has a lot of rocks in it. I like the environment too, but I really want to ride that ATV with the flames. Jared's dad might have cooler stuff, Kevin says, defending his father, but I bet my dad has a ton more money than him. Because he doesn't spend it all on ATVs, that's why. He saves it. The girls were looking uncomfortable by now, but none of them walks away. Jared's dad has a lot of money too, Stanley argues. He wears solid gold jewelry and everything. And I am thinking two things. First, Stanley is making Mr. Matthews sound like an ATV driving rap star, if there is such a thing. And only he's not. Mr. Matthews is just a regular dad. If you can have someone extreme like Jared for your kid and still be regular. Second, how did we end up talking about whose dad makes the most money? We were talking about tallness. Then we were talking about stuff. How did this lunch period turn into a bragging contest about whose family is the richest when so many other kids' families are having money troubles? Maybe even kids here at Oak Glen Primary School. I already know that I could never win this contest because college professors like my dad don't make a ton of money. Not to hear him tell it. Not compared to some people. And people who want to write fantasy books for grown-ups make even less. So how can I compete? What do I have to brag about? I have to find something.